All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to the Steward's Path. If you don't know already, my name is Zapanaya. I am your stewardship mentor, helping you learn more about the Most High's principles, learn more about the world that we live in through a base foundation of Scripture. So today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be on something that we've talked on many times over, but it's one that you guys have requested a lot, which is leaving your 9 to 5 when following the Most High. This is a conversation that people get kind of squeamish about because when we talk about money and then you wrap that in with scripture, people look at it kind of weird. We have a very weird mindset when it comes to the conditioning tied to our perception of, resources and abundance and prosperity when speaking about scripture. And it's rightfully so. When living in the Christian church or living in the world, when people start talking about scripture and start talking about prosperity, a lot of times they're getting over on us in some way, shape, or form. They're looking to take a bunch of money, live these lavish lifestyles, and then mislead us in the word. So today I wanted to give you guys a breakdown of what it is the Most High has shown me, what it is that me and my wife, we have been living in. We know this firsthand. We know what it's like to leave a 9 to 5. We have been graced, blessed to be able to work for the Most High, be employed by the Most High himself, for us to be able to feed his children with information just like this. So, walking in our gifts, we understand what it's like to go through the journey of figuring those things out, learning to actually operate in them, being confident in them, and walking in that authority that the Most High has given us. So that's what today's video is on. That's what I'm going to be showing you guys about today. So I got some notes. I also wanted to pull up this quick PDF that I have made. It should be on the screen now, and we're going to hop right into it. So core thesis, right? So the main thing that I want you guys to get from this video is that the central issue is not employment itself, but who occupies the position of provider. So this is what we are actually dealing with when we say we want to leave our 9 to 5. It's not so much about hating our job and wanting to be lazy or undisciplined. It's not the case at all. What we need to actually recognize when we're saying we want to leave 9 to 5 is that we want to change our allegiance to who it is that we call our provider. So a lot of people aren't looking at it this way, but this is exactly why we remain in our 9 to 5, or we're being convinced that the 9 to 5 is where we're supposed to be, as if it's honest and upright work. That is simply not the case at all. Eventually, this system has to go away and our people have to come out of it. And I truly do believe that time is now. The information is here. The leadership is here. The guidance is here. So we need to switch who occupies that providing role. So the protector and the source of trust. This is all going to our 9 to 5s right now. This is all going to our jobs. And again, I'm not speaking down towards anyone who does work a 9 to 5. I worked a 9 to 5 for many years, and I went through the ups and downs of learning what it was like to actually leave. And I wasn't actually graced with the privilege to be able to leave until I actually followed the Most High and realized through scripture, he never wanted us to be in this system in the first place. So scripture repeatedly calls us as believers to the dependence upon the Most High rather than dependence on human systems. Now, this is so hard for a lot of us because we think, well, how am I going to eat? Well, how am I going to have food? How am I going to have shelter? That is exactly the root of the problem. This is exactly why this conversation needs to be had, because the Most High cares to take care of all those things for us. We're just not aware of it because of our lack of belief. So Pharaoh's system versus the kingdom function. So I wanted to get I guess, comparison of what it looks like to be working in a slave system versus what it looks like in the Most High's order in his kingdom, right? So Pharaoh's system, this is in Exodus in Egypt. When the people were going through this slavery system, there was the control of labor, time, and production. They were making bricks and resources as well. They were given food. They had this control of their labor. They had this control of their time. The Pharaoh, as well as, the Egyptians, they had the control over the Israelites' time, their production, and their resources. Israel built another kingdom and received little inheritance from what it is that they produced. This is in Exodus 1, right? I'm not going to take you guys there, but if you want to go read Exodus, go check that out because it speaks on this specifically. So this is the same thing that we're dealing with in today's system. You are going to a 9 to 5 and you're trading something that is immensely valuable. I just spoke with my wife on this, and I talk about the essence of a human, right? If you had to put a price on a human, if I said I'll give you a human slave, right? This is hypothetical. Don't go too far down this rabbit hole. But if I said I'm going to give you a human slave, right? What's the price that you would put on that? If they would do everything that you said, you didn't even have to, blink about it. Like if they're talking about building these AI robots and stuff like that that'll walk around your home and, do chores and stuff, I guess. How much is the price that you would put on that? Instead of it being a robot, let's say an actual human. You would say millions, if not billions, right? That's a lot of money that you would put towards a person because a human is invaluable, right? It's very hard to put a price point on a human, but we know that it would be a lot if we could. We can't duplicate you. So for you to be you on top of being a human, innumerable amount of value should be applied to a human, right? So If you were able to do that, you would say it'd be a lot of money. Yet we are going to this 9 to 5. We're going to these jobs, right? No matter, I don't care if you're in a corporate office or if you're working at McDonald's. We're going to these places and trading our life force, our essence, our energy, the thing that is the most important to the Most High. And we're giving that away to build someone else's kingdom as they make a bunch of money. And then we reap back very little resources. We reap back a fraction of that. I don't care if you make $200,000 a year. The person that you went and worked for made way more than that on top of the benefits of their kingdom being progressed. Instead, on the other end, your kingdom isn't progressed. You get a fraction of the money that you help them make. That is a problem. We have been taught to think that this is normal. When on the other end, if you look at the Most High's kingdom, right? Stewardship, fruitfulness, multiplication, and inheritance and service. This is the baseline of the Most High's kingdom. Gifts are cultivated to build the Most High's kingdom. So in the Most High's kingdom, it's the complete opposite way around. There's no control over your labor, your time, your production. These resources don't go to building someone else's kingdom. They go to building the Most High's kingdom, right? So we have been taught to go put this towards another human's kingdom as opposed to the Most High's kingdom. Put our time and energy towards this. Again, it's a common saying in our household, where attention goes, energy flows. We have to recognize the door, right? The lath, that Hebrew letter for the number 4, right? The lath. This is a representation of a door. This also signifies creation being a door, which means the spiritual and the physical are tied together. So when you are going to a 9 to 5, you are spiritually taking part in something. The question is, what is it? It's spiritual idolatry. I know it sounds super harsh to say, but until we start to take on this mindset, we'll never view the 9 to 5 in the light that it was actually created in. The people who made this system knew it was idolatrous. It's just that we were put in such a perspective, a position that we had to accept it. Mental enslavement, right? So idolatry has been disguised as honesty. This is exactly where I wanted to go on the next topic. A job can become a functional idol when trust, peace, identity, and security are derived primarily from a paycheck rather than from the Most High, right? So this is exactly what happens. I'm looking for my phone here. Here we go. I want to pull up this verse. So this is exactly what happens when we put all of our time and energy towards something like this, because the Most High wants us to be building his kingdom, to have our gifts and our skills and our abilities put towards his kingdom, yet instead we're putting them towards another place. That is to put something else before the Most High's kingdom, and that stems a problem. So Matthew 6:24, no man can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Elohim and Mammon. You can't serve the Most High and Mammon, which is wealth or provision for yourself. You can't do this. It's not possible to have light and dark mix. How can 2 walk together unless they be agreed? You can't have 1 foot over here and 1 foot over there. Yet this is what we're being taught to do. We will apply this scripture to everything else, but when it comes to a job, we don't view this in the same light. When it's clear as day that we are relying on someone else's kingdom than the Most High's. How can we say we trust the Most High to provide for us, yet still go and work our fingers to the bone, spend most of our time throughout the day in someone else's system just to survive? Just to survive, just to have food, water, and shelter. I'm not blaming anyone who goes to a 9 to 5. Again, I've had to work a 9 to 5 for years. My point is that you'll never leave it unless you shift your mindset on it. Unless you recognize that it is idolatrous, then you will never understand. You'll never know what it's like to leave. You'll just go from there to another job, to another job, to another job, or you'll work your fingers to the bone looking to become rich in money. And then let's say you do, you still have a problem when it comes to obedience and understanding what it's like to be provided for by the Most High. So this is idolatry, right? Disguised as honesty. Leading down to that, the seed principle. On the other end, the Most High's kingdom follows this principle here at a baseline. We were created with this. This is the understanding that creation itself reveals a kingdom model. This is what kingdoms actually consist of. This is the basis of a kingdom, right? Seed, fruit, more seed, more fruit. When you plant a seed in the ground, it yields fruit. Those fruit have seeds within them. Those seeds yield even more fruit than you initially started off with. Through one round of you planting a seed in the ground, let's say you get 6 apples or 6 tomato plants, whatever you get back, right? 6 tomato plants, right? Those tomato plants will carry at least 12 seeds in them. You go plant 12 times, that's 144 seeds. I'm sorry, 12 times 6. So you have all of these seeds, right? And you go put them back into the ground. Now you come out with tenfold what it was that you initially put down, which was just one. In today's world, they would tell you one is not enough for you to multiply. It's not enough. We need more. You need to go give way more than you receive back. That's simply not the case. This would be the equivalent to you going and planting one seed and then getting half a seed back. That is what we're doing when we go to a 9-to-5, right? There's a conversation needs to be had around doing so, and that's what I'm looking to stem here. But we got to start with a foundational mindset, understanding that the 9-to-5 itself, the system, was derived from idolatry. If you haven't seen the other video that I've made about this, go check that out, because I start from a baseline of how this system stems from the fallen angels. So this is how the Most High's kingdom works. You have these seeds. These seeds always produce more than what it was, immensely more than what it was that you put down in the first place. Right? This is exactly how it goes. So if you go look at Genesis 1:1, I want to pull up Genesis 1:1. 1:11. Let's go to 1:11, right? So the Most High says that he made seeds, right? Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, right? There'll be a herb that yields seed, right? That yields seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. Whose seed is in itself. So the Most High made these seeds to bear fruit that carried more seeds. That means off rip, when you have one seed, it's understood that you have more than one seed. You have the seed being the evidence of fruit, of growth, of increase. Off rip, a seed is supposed to, at its baseline, increase. That's the whole symbol. That's a whole symbolism or ideology behind the seed itself. We don't value seeds just because of the state that they're in currently. We value seeds because we know that this is synonymous with a tree that bears fruit, that bears more seeds, that bears more trees. So this is at a baseline, the Most High's kingdom. I want you guys to understand that the Most High is not an Elohim of decrease. He's the Elohim of increase. Off rip, he makes us at a baseline foundation with abundance. He creates from abundance. He doesn't start things off at a deficit and ask it to become better. It's not the case at all. He starts it off with abundance. From there, it increases even more. It's understood. It's entitled to increase, because what's not flowing is not growing. What's stagnant is dead. So if these things are not fruitful, they are not increasing, which means they cease to exist in his kingdom. That's why he tells us to cut off the unfruitful branch. So if you go to Mark 4:8, right? Mark 4:8 presents this same exact concept. So let's go to Mark 4:8. So this is speaking about the seeds, right? Landing on different soil. These verses specifically are speaking about the different seeds and landing on different soil. So this is speaking about the seed that landed on good soil in Mark 4:8. And the other fell on good ground. This is the seed that fell on good ground and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased and brought forth some 30 and some 60 and some 100. And he said unto them, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. So we know that this seed that fell on good soil brought a multitude of increase. Some 30, some 60, some 100. So this is how at a baseline, fruitfulness is supposed to look in the kingdom. Everyone talks about abundance. Everyone talks about fruitfulness, but nobody wants to lean into what that actually looks like. You should understand that you should be entitled to increase. No, I am not talking about simply monetary. This is where we start to move into the deeper parts of the conversation. That increase starts with your gifts, right? An understanding of your gifts. So gifts are seeds. Gifts are seeds. Every gift, every talent, and every revelation and skill is a seed. The kingdom rewards faithful multiplication rather than preservation. This is Matthew 25:14-30. This is the parable of the talents. This is letting us know that we are not to be the servant who placed their seed in the ground and buried it. That's preservation. We are to be the one to multiply. We're not just managing something that we have, we are called to multiply it. So your gifts, your talents, your abilities, those things are supposed to be put in a place that reaps back a multitude. We have been taught to think that money, which is just symbolism for value, money is the only way that we can increase. Simply not the case at all. This is a lie, but it becomes true so long as you believe it to be the only route through which increase comes about. No one can bring you into a state of awareness if you aren't aware. No one can bring you into a state of fruitfulness if you don't believe. So we need to, reset our mind to a place to where we understand that at a baseline foundation, the unseen produces the seen, right? Everything that is seen comes from the unseen. So in the unseen, fruitfulness is a baseline foundation. Fruitfulness is a baseline foundation. So your gifts, which are not seen, they can be represented in the physical, right? Yes. But initially they start off as an unseen thing that you were made with. It's a thing that you were made with before you even came into the womb, before you were created on this earth. So you were made with this gift. This gift is what you are supposed to be tending to first. The Most High will never increase you if you don't learn to steward what it is that you currently have well. Those who are faithful over a lot will be granted. Those who are faithful over a little bit will be granted a lot. So you are supposed to be faithful over what you currently have, but we're so focused on gaining more that we don't recognize we are not tending to what it is that we have before us already. Some of us, I know some of y'all are going to be thinking, well, I already tend to what it is that I have around me. I've been looking. I promise you, I've been on this walk for a little while, and I'm still learning on these specific topics themselves. I've been aware of my gift for a little while, and I'm still growing in that gift, still learning in that gift, still having daily new revelation about that gift specifically. So there is always more to learn. There is so much to learn. So these gifts are seeds. We're supposed to tend to them well. We're supposed to take our gifts, these talents, and recognize that they are value themselves. Again, money is symbolism for value. Value is what we're really talking about, right? So a lot of times when we see, how we're supposed to be provided for, how we're supposed to take care of our shelter, our food, our water, we think money. But money is symbolism for value. So that value is what we need to be looking at. And when you recognize its value we're talking about, you'll see that value isn't only attached to money. Value is in you innately off rip from a base foundation. From birth, from before birth, you were made with value. So that value is within you in your gifts, talents, and your abilities, your skills. It's just in a different form. We have to understand money is not the only form that value comes in. So when you understand this, you'll recognize that you are called to multiply this gift, whatever it is. If you don't know what your gifts are, we have a whole area for that specifically. Go check out that underneath the classroom. But this is where you need to go as a base foundation. You need to understand what your gifts, your skills, and your abilities are. It takes time to learn this. I don't expect you to go through a couple videos and just know them immediately, but we are here to help. This is what we're here to help you learn more about, because that is the currency that is the most valuable to the Most High. That's why he gave it to you in the first place. That will help you in your assignment. That will help you in your calling, as we all have one. No, they're not all the same, but I can't do what you do and you can't do what I do, yet we both need each other. This is when you start to have community come back together. This is what it looks like for our people to flourish as one whole. So gifts and seeds, they're synonymous. We need to understand that in these gifts, if you wish to know what they are, if you wish to know more about them, we need to have obedience first. We got to learn what it's like to be a good servant first. We can't be like, man, the Most High hasn't shown me my gifts yet. How am I supposed to grow without knowing what my gifts are? Well, have you been obedient? You need to know what this looks like for you to be obedient. It's not just checking off commandments down the list. That's not the point. We have to dive into the deeper layers of what these commandments actually are saying to us. What does it mean for us to actually abide by the commandments? Each one is symbolism for something else in the spirit. We have to dive deep into these to learn more about them. It is a journey. It is a walk. It's a course that the Most High has us on, a training course, right? So obedience before clarity. Abraham received direction through his obedience. The pattern is hear. So this is listen, follow, and then discover more. You listen, you do what you heard, you do what is told to you, and then through that, the Most High reveals more. This is the order through which the world was built on. This is why he tells us that we are to be obedient first. When you become obedient and you start to follow him, that's when more gets revealed to you. But he's not going to jump you to level 7 if you haven't learned level 1 and 2 yet. This is the order of everything. So calling is often revealed during the journey rather than before it. You need to walk. You need to get used to this walk to actually know what it's like to learn more alongside the journey. You need to know what it's like during this walk is how you learn it. This is going through the fire. This is what this is for. That's why he says he chastises those who he loves. You have to go through the chastisement to learn what the chastisement was teaching you. He doesn't just say, he chastises those who he loves, but you won't understand that he loves you through the chastisement. No, through the chastisement, you learn more about him and yourself, and you look back and recognize, okay, he only did that because he loved me, and I actually was better off after the fact. So we see this in Genesis 12:1 as well as John 10:27. Now, moving forward, how does this all, go about when it comes to your 9 to 5? But what does this look like in its application? What does this look like for us as a people? Kingdom infrastructure, teachers, communicators, builders, leaders, artists, organizers, and servants all contribute to the growth of the kingdom. They're all needed. This is infrastructure. I speak about infrastructure heavily. This is one of the things that I was called to relate to our people. We have to stop thinking that we're just going to be poofed up into heaven somewhere in the clouds. We throw that idea out completely. It's not real. It's not in scripture. That's not how it works. We are supposed to operate a certain way down here, and that requires the builders, that requires the artists, that requires the communicators, that requires each of us to act in our gifts, because we are all different parts of the body. The same way I am needed in my ability to communicate is the same way you are needed in your ability to build or to create or whatever it is that the Most High gave you. I can't do your thing. You can't do my thing. Your way is the best way. You are supposed to do your thing your way because that is your assignment. That's your field to plow. So these different parts are needed to make up the entire body. We have to stop acting as if we're going to be gathered together with no input from each individual. We all have a job to do. Once we stop putting all of our attention on the 9 to 5 is when we'll actually start to learn what it's like to work as a whole, as a community. So each of us are needed. Servants, we're all supposed to contribute to the growth of the kingdom. Gifts are given for the benefit of the whole body. This is 1 Peter 4:10. Now, I am going to pull up this one because this is a beautiful verse, pertaining to the subject itself. So let me go to 1 Peter. You see 4:10, right? So, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High. So yes, this is speaking about the gift of the Holy Spirit, right? But that comes alongside our actual gifts, because at a baseline, gifts themselves are used for multiplication. This is for the kingdom. This is for servitude. We are supposed to reap back an increase off of the gifts. You're supposed to use your gifts towards the kingdom. The kingdom is supposed to grow. And from that growth, they present back to you more than what it is that you started off with. Then you do the same thing over again. This is a cycle of increase, a cycle of multiplication. We are to continue in this because this is an infinite passing back and forth of increase. This is the kingdom. This is shalom. This is eternity, perfection. This is eternal peace, eternal multiplication, eternal increase. This is what we're supposed to do, right? So we're supposed to take our gifts and we're supposed to use them toward the kingdom. Toward the kingdom. I don't care, again, if you are a builder, find a way to use that for the Most High. Not just saying so, but looking towards his people, making his people, those who abide by his commandments, who are obedient to him, helping them, making them the main target for what it is that you're doing. We've had to do this. We've had to walk through this ourselves. I was known as a communicator before I knew that I was to apply that to the Most High's children. I had to walk through ups and downs, different journeys, different jobs, different seasons of life to learn that my gift is supposed to be angled towards the Most High's children. That's what he gave it to me for. There's a lot of different obstacles I've had to go through, hoops and hurdles, loops that I've had to go through and fight off to learn and really have my gift refined, knowing that this is my proper assignment, what I am supposed to do. You will have to do the same thing. But the benefit, the hope is knowing that the Most High is our shepherd. And I want to speak more on that here in a minute. But the Most High is looking after you the entire time. So long as you are obedient, he will make sure that you are receiving the proper guidance on what it looks like for you to not go too far left or too far right when it comes to your gifts, how they are supposed to be used for his children, for his kingdom. Recognize that these things are not just solely spiritual. A lot of times we over spiritualize the gifts. I'm telling you that that dalath, right? The door, the word dalath, right, means door. It's the fourth letter in the Hebrew Abba, or the alphabet, right? This is symbolism, a doorway. The physicality, everything that you see in the physical realm is a doorway to the spirit. What man have you ever seen stand upright with no soul or no spirit within him? No breath within him? It's not possible. It's not real. It's not possible. So every man that you do see walking around is resemblance to another being. You are not the flesh. They are not the flesh. They are unseen, but they're operating through the flesh. So this is the same thing with everything that presents itself before you in physicality. It doesn't matter big or small. All of it had to be sent out from the unseen to then be reflected in the seen. We know this. Again, this is why we have the fruits of the Spirit. They are to be seen. So That is the kingdom's infrastructure, right? That's how we're supposed to go about seeing the kingdom's infrastructure. And again, I want y'all to know, like, I don't want to rush through this. I do get excited about this topic because I genuinely do enjoy it. I am happy for the Most High's people to hear about these topics because I know that it needs to be said. Many are not speaking about these things. We're kind of regurgitating the same things over and over and over again, but the detailed things about our lives, our livelihood, the biggest problems that we're dealing with as a community don't get spoken about. So this is one of the biggest one that we've had people speak to us about, ones that we've seen, and the one that we've seen the least amount of conversation around. So kingdom infrastructure, right? Leaving Egypt. This is one of the biggest parts of this entire video. I need you to understand, leaving Egypt is what happens when you leave the 9 to 5. They're synonymous. This is the same principle the Most High was teaching us in Egypt, in Exodus. When we left Egypt, we had to realize when you leave Egypt, you're leaving the amenities. I say amenities because they're not actually beneficial for you, but they're the things that we have been caressed or conditioned into a slave mindset to believe were amenities, right? You have to leave those behind too. This is the part where, you know, when he says he brings them to the wilderness, he'll bring them to the wilderness to purge out the rebels. This is the purging part. Some of y'all are so hard-headed that you'll think that you're going through this fire to get to nothing, or he's bringing you through this wilderness to destroy you. That is exactly how they were in the wilderness. They just got brought out of Egypt, right? And they don't have any food, they don't have any water, and they're saying, Moses, you brought us out here to kill us. They were on the brink of stoning Moses. Just saw the Red Sea get split, just saw the plagues go over Egypt, just saw themselves released from Pharaoh, which they hadn't had done in many generations, all miraculously. And then a couple weeks later, a couple days later, they're looking at Moses like, you brought us out here to the middle of a desert. Even though you did all that, you brought us out here to the middle of a desert with no water, no food. You're trying to kill us, and we about ready to kill you. We need to understand this is the same mindset a lot of us will take when it comes to actually wanting to leave your 9 to 5. You have to recognize you are leaving behind these amenities. It's not going to feel the same way it did before. You're not going to be able to kick your feet up in the AC 24/7 and it be fine. It's going to get rocky, but not because it's actually rocky. It's because the Most High is shifting your allegiance from a slave mindset to one of freedom. Freedom does not come with the amenities of somebody else taking care of you. It comes with the amenity. Well, I'll say it this way. It doesn't come with the amenities that it looked like for Pharaoh to take care of you. You have to learn what it's like for the Most High to take care of you. But the Most High gives you a little bit more control than Pharaoh did. That freedom is you not having to build bricks all day. That is what Pharaoh provided. Yeah, we'll give you shelter and food, and you'll have clothes. You'll have water. But you've got to build bricks all day. You don't get to, control your own people. Y'all don't get to go pray when you want to. You don't get to go celebrate those feast days. You got to ask me to. On the other end, the Most High allows you to have the freedom. But there's going to be a time where you may not know what it looks like. You don't know if you're going to have food or water. But that's because he wants you to trust him that he will bring those things forth. This is a test of how strong your faith is. This is the only way you get rid of a slave mindset, is by recognizing you have a different master than the one that you were following before. The Most High does not lie. He tells us he will provide for us. We have seen it. There's been many times with me and my wife, it's been years since I worked a 9 to 5, but there was many times when first getting out, we didn't just hop out and everything just go perfect. There was many ups and downs. As anybody will tell you with running businesses. I've ran many businesses, and they'll tell you there's ups and downs. When it's up, it's great, it's beautiful. But there's much problem solving. There's much solutions that need to be, created and found out. There's much juggling, and it comes with ups and downs. And there was a lot of times where those seasons, they was kicking our butt. But the fact that we're still here is why we are called to testify and tell these things to you as well, too. It's a testament to the fact that the Most High provides, especially after us going over the Passover, counting this Amawar. We're supposed to go after the fact and count each day and see that we are increased after the 49 days leading up to the Feast of Shavuot. We can tell you firsthand the Most High has only increased us internally as well as externally. He has only provided for us continually. So we are supposed to have this same mindset. You do not have to rely on the pagan systems. You do not have to rely on this idolatrous system. It's going to look rocky for you because you're not used to what it looks like when the Most High provides. My wife brings up this, analogy a lot of times when we speak about the wolf and the dog. The dog is domesticated. He's fine. He gets food every single day, but he doesn't get the freedom to ravage around and roam in the wilderness like a wolf. He's got to stay in one place. On the other end, the wolf is free, can do what he wants to do, move around when he wants to, go anywhere. But there's no guarantee he's going to eat everything he wants every day. That's the thing. You've got to recognize what it's like to leave and actually have freedom. But that does lead to prosperousness. Once you roll through the freedom, once you roll through the hard parts, it's to establish something in you, a level of trust in you that bears fruit. So leaving Egypt, Israel left slavery but entered the wilderness. As soon as they left the slavery, they entered the wilderness, and they were complaining. The wilderness trained dependence on the Father rather than dependence on Pharaoh's provisions. That's the hardest part. That is the hardest part. To not know what you're going to eat, to not know how the bills are going to get paid, to not know how you're going to have water. To not know how these things are going to come about. But this is a direct furnace to try your trust, to try your faith. It's your ability to recognize this. There were times, again, when me and my wife have had to go through this, when we didn't know how we were going to eat. We just knew we was listening to the Most High, and he told us to do, so we're doing. Everything's not always perfect. It's not always how we expected it to. But the Most High gave us the revelation, had us sit with him daily, plead with him, continuously seek his face. And through that, we had continual revelation about the time that we were in. We were supposed to be joyous. We were supposed to understand that, okay, we're not going through this time period for no reason. This is to increase us. You just got to stop fighting the furnace. The furnace is not for your destruction. It's always for your refinement. You always leave out as gold afterwards. So sit in it, enjoy it, take it day by day. This is why he gave them manna day by day in the wilderness. He didn't allow for them to store it up. If they did, it would be rotten by the morning. He didn't allow for them on the Sabbath to go out and grab any. He was forcing trust with them. That was for their benefit. So we have to recognize when leaving the 9-to-5 system, these are the things that we're asking for. The shepherd principle. Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. That's Psalm 23:1. The Father presents himself as the true provider of food, water, direction, and protection. You cannot say you are wanting to leave your 9-to-5 and not be willing to wait until the Most High provides these things for you. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it is easier than being a slave. It's more fruitful than being a slave. It's more beneficial. You can go and try to work your way up and establish a business here and there to make all the money you want to, but you will be leaving off the things in the spirit that are more beneficial for you and your generations than any money could ever get you. And the thing is, when you walk through this route with the Most High, the increase is expected. The provision is expected as well as the prosperity. It's a 2-for-1 increase. He increases you internally and externally. When some of y'all are not going to be able to, some of us are not going to be able to deal with it. Some of us are going to go and say, hey, look, this is getting too hard. I'm going to go find another job. I'm going to go work for my food. That is a lie that we've been told. I understand that a lot of our men specifically wish to showcase that we are diligent, wish to showcase that we are disciplined. And we'll say a man is to toil for his food. The question is, what does toil mean? That doesn't always mean the same thing. It never meant to go toil for a 9-to-5 system like today. Never. A man was supposed to go toil in his own workings for the Most High. You were supposed to be your own boss. You were supposed to be your own CEO underneath the Most High. You were never supposed to go work for another man who gave you less than what it was that you put forth. That is a continual and perpetual slave system, a debt system. That is what we've been caught in, and we need to do away with it internally first, prepare ourselves internally first to be able to walk through it. This is what we have been called to help our people with. This is what we have been called to make videos like this, content like this, counseling through calls, through, our challenges, through our courses. This is what we're called to tell you guys, because we didn't have anybody before us go and make this walk. We had to walk hand in hand with the Most High and trust him. And in doing so, I am here to be a testament to you that there is increase on the other side. This isn't just specific for me. This is what he said for our people. We just have to trust him and know that he is not a liar. So the shepherding principle is understand that the Most High is the greatest shepherd. He has a plan that is greater than what you could ever come up. He takes your desires and puts them on 100,000. Before I came into truth, I never thought that I would be the one to talk this way. I was somebody who was immensely in the world and did not care for the ideology of a creator. Didn't care for the idea, didn't care for the concept at all. I was what other people would consider an atheist today. I knew that there was something else going on, but I wouldn't say God or this or that. I didn't care for that. None of it. So for me to be standing here telling you that there is a level of faith that we must all get to that is on the other side of our 9-to-5, it's a miracle in itself. This is what we need to have our focus on, because the kingdom is within us. That means as soon as we recognize the kingdom is within us and act as the kingdom, he'll bring it down. The kingdom is not the buildings. That's what I think we need to recognize. The kingdom itself is not the walls. It's not the building. The kingdom is the people. So the people need to come together. So this is how we transition, right? We go and walk in obedience. Then we move to communion. That's with the Most High, with the Spirit. This is a lot of sitting down. This is a lot of listening. This is a lot of taking notes. This is a lot of diving into the Torah, diving into the scriptures. This is a lot of listening. It really is listening. Some of us move around too much. So this is a lot of listening that needs to take place. From there, the Most High will reveal your gifts. You don't expect to get these things in a week. It's not going to come about like that. You just need to be listening day by day by day, knowing that he is a shepherd. He will lead you on this proper path when you are obedient, knowing that he goes out before you. So he'll lead you to your gifts. These gifts are to be used in service for the kingdom, for those around you. Don't do the thing where you get some gifts, you recognize your gifts and go, I'm going to make a bunch of money with this. That's not the point at all. That is a byproduct of you simply having your focus on the service of the Most High, his children. How does this help the kingdom? How does this help the people? That's what we should be focused on. That's what we should be focused on. Some of the stuff that we see in today's world just doesn't need to be. I'll be honest. There's a lot of us who are, we have 1 million people making T-shirts. We have 1 million people making, different things that don't actually benefit the kingdom. I'm not saying nobody should make T-shirts. That's not my point. I'm saying everybody's gift isn't making T-shirts. That's just not it. We are supposed to be placing our gifts towards the kingdom. We're supposed to be working with those in service to the kingdom. Infrastructure. Somebody needs to learn how to put together solar panels. Somebody needs to know how to build houses. Somebody needs to know how to, be a midwife. Somebody needs to know how to, you see what I'm saying? These are the things that actually bring forth community. This is, again, I know my position. My position is as a communicator, as a counselor, a unifier, an organizer. This is what I've been called to do. This is what I've been called to do. But we need your thing for you just as much as we need my thing. We need that for the kingdom. This is the infrastructure. It's everybody's pieces being put together that brings forth something great. So after you walk in service, these things will multiply. Me serving you in this scenario here, while I am giving you the information and the walk that I've had with this conversation specifically around this topic. This is to multiply you. So more of us lead this 9-to-5 system and don't have to go through it firsthand with no counsel, with no one around to say, hey, look, the time period that you're going through, it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to be all nice and happy when you leave the 9-to-5. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have a lot of internal conflict as well as external conflict. People looking at you crazy. But that's the spot where the Most High moves. He's solidifying something in you. And you're supposed to use that. You're supposed to have that. Because that will be a testament to the others around you. You go and you leave your 9-to-5. We look up. We see that you are okay and prosperous. And then others do the same thing. See how it multiplies. And speaking of multiplication, in that way, hopefully you guys end up tithing back to help this work, because this is what we're looking to do. We're looking to build more conversation, more resources around this. So we help you with this information. If you feel led to, you tithe, we go and we present that to other ministries, other people who are doing the same thing, as well as building more resources ourselves. This is the baseline order of the kingdom, multiplication. On top of everything else that I've stated, with you showcasing your gifts, your ability to have faith in the Most High to other people. They go do the same thing. See how we get a continual increase, innumerable increase. So this will lead you to dependence on the Most High. This multiplication, you will see that you will multiply without the 9-to-5, without the common ways that everybody told you to work. You'll be multiplied in spirit first and physicality. You'll know what it looks like to continue moving forward with that feeling, that understanding with spiritual eyes, even when you can't see it in the physical. You'll be able to look at the deeper layers rather than just seeing on a surface level. So this will increase your dependence on the Most High. From there, this will lead you into real freedom, knowing that day by day he provides our provisions. But a lot of us, we've gotten so used to having 2, 3, 4 weeks worth of groceries in the refrigerator. We don't know what it's like to just be provided for daily. But this is the mindset. Even when being increased, you must look for him daily. If not, he's never going to increase you, because you would not be a proper steward of what it is that he's giving you. Right. So this is on to the next portion, stewardship. Once he makes you free, that whole process of you leading up to that freedom was to make you solidified as a good steward with what it is that he's given you. In doing so, he will increase you again, and we start that loop all over again. It's a beautiful thing the Most High is looking to lead us to. We have to understand that we're in the middle of the story now. This isn't a question of if these things are to be talked about or to be implemented now. They are to be implemented. It looks different for everybody, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that it's not what we're supposed to be doing. So the last question that I put down here was that it's not a question of can I leave my 9 to 5? It's do I trust the Most High enough to follow him wherever obedience leads? It looks different for everybody. It's not going to look exactly the same as what me and my wife have walked through. But I will say at a baseline foundation, there will be many similarities. And this is exactly what we're here for in these videos. This is exactly what we're here for in the community. Or if you want to get on a one-on-one call, just shoot us a message. Let us know, because we want to be here to help you guys walk through these areas. This isn't a coincidence that we wanted to bring this up. I know a lot of you are feeling this way. I know a lot of you want to talk about this topic. The Most High brought this before us to say to you. So if you've been having this conversation with yourself, or if you feel like this is one that you've been kind of thinking on, there's a reason for that. He's taking his people and he's bringing back something that we haven't had before. Again, there's been no person before me walking before me teaching me this. So we've walked through it. We've lived it. We have the experience, and that's what we're here to help you with. Again, I hope this video really helped you all. I know this is a pretty long video, but I'm hoping that throughout this entire video, you guys got a lot of information that'll help you on your walk or lead you in a direction on a path to where, you know, you've been feeling that leaving the 9 to 5 and lead you on a path to where you actually have clarity for where it is that you're going. I want you to know you are not lazy or undisciplined for wanting to leave a 9 to 5. We've dealt with it. We've dealt with what it looks like for other people who are not in truth or do not have a relationship with the Most High to see us do what we do. They've looked at us like, hey, are y'all just, what do you mean you're leaving your job? What do you mean you're not going to work the traditional systems? And here we are today, increased, multiplied in spirit as well as in physicality. The Most High wanted that space to prove those people wrong, allowing us the freedom to do what it is that we do, which is serve the kingdom full time. So with that being said, if you feel led, please shoot the tithe. I'll leave the link below. In the description. So if you feel led to, please shoot us that. Again, like I said, it helps us out immensely, not solely just for the sake of, provision for us, but then also we present our tithe as well, too, to other ministries that we see are doing the same thing. So no, this is not traditional ministry, but it is ministry. This is what we've been called to do. This is what we've been called to help the Most High's kingdom with, rebuilding that infrastructure. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. We'll see you guys.